Our next guest threw out his congressional playbook and decided to rewrite the rules on how Congress should operate. Instead of trading earmarks for votes, Representative Jeff Flake is battling to stop mindless congressional pork. On his website, he posts the egregious earmarks of the week. Here are just some of the latest. $284,000 for the Blackbird Management Center in North Dakota and South Dakota. $375,000 for dairy farm profitability in Pennsylvania, like they needed any of that right now, and $250,000 for construction of a 1 million gallon water storage tower in Ada, Oklahoma. Your tax dollars at work. Joining us now from D.C. is Arizona Congressman Jeff Flake. Great to see you, Congressman.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
You're still doing your work and you're surviving inside the Beltway. In fact, you are trying to get on the Appropriations Committee because there's a slot opening up. Tell us about that.
Well, there is. There are 29 Republican members on the Appropriations Committee, and I think that there should be at least one that doesn't participate in earmarking. We need a lot more oversight on that committee, as you can tell by reading the kind of earmarks that make it to the floor.
But you're not making friends inside the Beltway because you're not playing according to the rules. So do you think you're going to get that spot?
Well, it's tough. They say there are Republicans and Democrats and then appropriators, and that's kind of an old joke, but there's some truth to it. But I hope there are enough Republicans who are tired of being in the minority and feel that we've got to change, we've got to be more aggressive, and certainly the taxpayers deserve it.
Now, one of those, by the way, one of those congressmen, he's a Republican, but as you've pointed out on this show before, porkers are Republicans and Democrats. Both sides have been involved in these earmarks. But Jack Kingston, a Republican of Georgia, who is basically, he's not an anti-earmark guy, but he said, quote, if we're not up to the challenge, to step up to the challenge and appoint you in appropriations, then we're not ready to assume the majority again. That's a pretty strong statement.
Well, it is, but you just have to ask yourself, if we got the majority tomorrow as Republicans, would we be any different than we were before? Before we lost the majority, we got 60% of the earmarks. Democrats got 40. Now we get 40%, they get 60. I don't think if we gain the majority tomorrow, it would be any different unless we make some changes. And I think taxpayers know that. I think voters know that. And that's why we're so unpopular here. So we've got to make some changes.
Now, what could you do as a member of the Appropriations Committee that you can't do now as just a normal member of Congress?
Well, when these bills get to the floor with sometimes as many as 2,500 earmarks per bill, and you have about a day to look at it and try to fashion amendments to strike these earmarks, the aspect of log rolling kind of takes over and the die is cast. I've challenged nearly 100 earmarks on the House floor in the last two years, and I've won exactly one.
Oh my gosh.
We've had enough votes to strike just one. So when it gets to the floor, it's pretty much over at that point. But on the committee, you can hold things up there. You can ensure that there's a little oversight going on. And if you have somebody who's not taking earmarks himself, then he's not subject to log rolling on the committee. Because once you get earmarks yourself, you kind of have to turn a blind eye to others' earmarks. And so I think we need somebody on there who doesn't earmark.
By the way, what was that one earmark that you were holding up?
That was for the Perfect Christmas Tree Project.
No!
Yeah.
How much money went to that?
Oh, it was just a couple $100,000, but it was to make Christmas tree ornaments, and it was a Republican earmark, and the Democrats kind of joined with me on that one to defeat a Republican earmark. But as you said before, it's a bipartisan problem. We have some very awful Democratic earmarks. We have some awful Republican ones as well.
A Christmas tree earmark. All right, but finally, you have to go to House Minority Leader John Boehner, right?
Yeah, John Boehner on the steering committee that appoints members of the various committees. He has 5 votes on that steering committee.
So if people want to know who to write into, we're looking at a picture of John Boehner right there, Republican from Ohio. Is he the guy that you got to pressure to get you on the Appropriations Committee?
He certainly has the most power on the steering committee, yes.
All right. So, folks, everybody out there who's listening, who cares about your tax dollars being used for pork, contact John Boehner, and Jeff is the guy you want to have on. Jeff, best of luck to you. I hope you make it on a committee.
Thank you. So do I.
Please come back and let us know how your battles are going. We love to hear about them.
Will do.
All right, Jeff Flake coming up on